probably wondering why I made the title the way I did. The Silent Monster of a Dangerous Loner. Now, see, I'm not trying to scare anybody because you know you have certain folks out here. Oh my God, look, it's a black man sitting in a restaurant with a book in front of him. And the title is The Silent Monster of a Dangerous Loner. White folks sitting in the back. So I'm not trying to scare you white folks. You're not already scared enough the way the world is. But I'm going at something deeper. And I want to explain. Doesn't mean you're some antisocial, weird, strange, whatever, because I consider myself to also be a dangerous loner and a silent monster. Do I sound like one, what you would think? No. I'm a people person. I'm an extrovert and an introvert. I'm one who enjoys solitude, peace and quiet. I don't like drama. I don't like low vibrational conversations. I don't like gossip. I don't like being the spectator. I'm not an attention whore by no means. It's just that there's so many experiences I've had in my life that I would like to just share, because if it could be helpful to someone, then I did my job. But I want to get into the words and notes that I jotted down, and I want to explain them, and I want to take you on a little trip and have you think a little different. You don't have to embrace my thoughts, but maybe you can pick up something from it. And like I said before, and I've said this many times in the past, when did your favorite food become your favorite food? Really? There's a time that your favorite food that you like and you love right now wasn't your favorite food, right? You went into a restaurant or somebody brought home some takeout or something that they made at home or at a friend's house. And the funny thing about it is you probably resisted it when it was offered to you because you had some preconceived notion that, that's nasty, or I don't like that, for some reason, okay? So you tasted this food after they pushed it on you, and you're like, wait a second, this is pretty good. I like this. Give me some more. And now for the next week, you are fiending on this new culinary delight that you had no clue of. And everything that possibly was repulsive about it is very attractive. So this is why we have to indulge in conversations, read books, listen to uplifting thought, because it just may be something that we can incorporate in our lives that will make our knives cut sharper. Like the analogy I always say, a hot knife cutting through butter. When your senses are dull, when your mind is dull, when your mind is even dulled even more by mindlessly scrolling through content that has no purpose, you're breaking yourself down. And as a side note, and it's something that really doesn't have anything to do with this topic, the purpose of these shorts is a certain type of stimulation on your brain. This is my educated opinion. And your capacity goes down to absorb full knowledge. It's limited. Your capacities are shrunken. Because even before you identify this YouTube short or short Instagram video or short Facebook video, if it doesn't catch you immediately, your thumb throws, it throws it up higher and the other one comes up. You scroll up. For some reason, that's why they say for content creation and content creators, you have to hook the viewer early. And most times you see videos where if they're trying to appeal to men, they have the female form or some kind of disaster or something to hook you. So you seek this stimulation, but it's just to keep you on and to keep you viewing longer. It could be a short or something a little longer. It's business, it's advertising, it's keeping you on. And your analytics as a content creator show you, most people only viewed that 60-second video for 8 seconds, for 4 seconds. They scroll right through it. So this is why you have to be careful how you work your mind. I'm not saying don't indulge in that type of content, but you don't know what's coming next unless you're on a particular person's page or channel. Just be careful what goes into your mind. So this is why with my titles, most of the time I play with you. Like the silent monster of a dangerous loner. Is this a person who's about to snap? No, let's get into it. I put down 4 points. There are 4 pillars of dangerous solitude. We'll call it that. The person who has absorbed the concept of dangerous solitude is a dangerous loner. Number 1, radical honesty. Facing your fears, failures, and motives without lying to yourself. This reminded me of a time when I was in a nightclub, and I'm not a nightclub going person. I love conversation at restaurants or at home or, fine cuisine, but just to sit there and go into a nightclub, it's like going into a whorehouse with blindfolds on. You know what I mean? All these different energies, these strange energies that are, you're sauteing and simmering these people and their energies around you. How many times have you come out from a nightclub and felt good? I mean, like when you go home, especially if you've been drinking, which I don't drink, but if you've been drinking, you feel dizzy. You might feel depressed the next day or feel something on you. All of these energies, there might be some good people there, but all of these energies around you, and you're putting yourself in that mix, right? You put something in the garbage can. It could be a clean rag, a cloth, a face cloth. You put it in the garbage can, let it sit there for a while and take it out. It's going to take on the scent and the stench and the smell of that garbage in the garbage can. And this is how it is with people. This is where you have to have solitude in your life to cleanse yourself, but facing your fears, failures, and motives without lying to yourself. So going back to the nightclub, that's why I brought it up. Young lady I know, she came to me. She said, I went to the club last night. And would you believe what this guy said? This guy introduced himself, said he found me very attractive, and we talked for a while. He couldn't keep his eyes off of my form, off of my shape. And I asked him, I said, you're just looking at my body and my face, and I can see lust in your face. And he said, yes. She's like, are you serious? You're going to approach me that way? He's like, listen, I want to get with you. I want to get to know you. But from what you told me, you're very busy and I'm very busy. So we need to get together and, be intimate friends. She said, are you crazy? That's it? We're just going to get together and have sport sex? And he was very upfront. Radical honesty. I'm not saying for you to go out there and do that, but facing your fears, failures, and motives without lying to yourself. He wasn't lying to you. He wasn't lying to himself. I don't condone this, but if that's his motive, you want to know what it is. And he's probably your best friend that night, because the guy that you got with that charmed you, he's the guy that wasted 5 or 6 years of your life, maybe even 10, because it took that long for you to find out what his true motivations were. Most people are not going to be honest with you. But to yourself now, the radical honesty, facing your fears, your failures, and your motives without lying to yourself. See, he didn't lie to himself. For that, I applaud him. Many women would have smacked him across the face or cussed him out. But we have to be honest with ourselves. We tell ourselves so many different things that are lies. And the worst kind of lie is a lie that you do when you lie to yourself. Oh, I'm going to the gym next week. You've been saying that for 15 years. Oh, I love you. But when he lost his job and went bankrupt, Where is the love? Where is the love? You were going with the wind because you lied to yourself. You told yourself that you loved this man, but it's only because you needed him. That word love and need is very much interchangeable. Sometimes we tell our mate, oh, I love you. No, it's because you need them. And if you don't need them, that's why it's so quick for many people to disappear. Oh, I love you, baby. Next day you hit the lottery for millions of dollars or even a couple 100,000. And everything looks different. Now, all of a sudden, you're ready to go. I don't think we're so compatible. I think because you got some money in your pocket and what you think is stability. Radical honesty. We don't do that. We have fear of certain things. And instead of conquering that fear and running at it, so it's not a fear, when I'm fearful of something, to me, that's an opportunity for growth. An opportunity for growth, because if I can conquer that fear, I'm better than I was before. As you will know, I live up in West Africa, in Ghana, not in the city. It's extreme country out here. In certain parts of the road that goes into the village, it can get real dark. The part that's going away from the village, I told you the time when that van driver had an attitude and refused to let me off and took me way down about 15 miles down the dark road. Once you pass where I live, you're getting swallowed up. Have you ever been in a car with the headlights on and it seems like the headlights are being swallowed up because everything is so dark? But that's the way it was. And I said, okay, when somebody gets off, I'll get off with them. It was about 15 miles. It was about midnight. I didn't have a signal on my phone. I had 1 bar of power on my phone. I had 2 heavy shopping bags with me. And I knew there was nothing coming back up that road that time of night. I had to walk that bad boy. And while I walked it, see, we're up in the clouds. This is a very, not foggy, it was clouds. No street lights, big trees, which you can see against the background of the clouds that were a little lighter, but it was no light, pitch black, but your eyes adjusted and you can see these big trees and you can hear all these animals. I had no choice but to face my fear. I didn't know I had a fear of something that I didn't experience. I never experienced a country road dark like that. Now, in Africa, there's all kind of animals. And the only time the road lit up is when a car went by. So here I am, bald head, looking all American, walking down the street with 2 shopping bags. It was like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to pick him up. People, they looked at me and kept going. I'm not going to lie. I was scared. It wasn't about being scared that something might bite me. That was a concern. But this was a road. It was a paved road. Like the creator, certain signs had guardrails where there was steep drop that if I walked off the road, because I kind of like not scrape my feet to keep my foot on the ground and know that there's a road under me, but every time a car came and passed me by, I got a glimpse of the road ahead of me, but it wasn't that much traffic. I learned something about myself that night. I had to dig deep. I really had to face just being out somewhere deep. For other people, it's no problem. For folks who are born and raised in this part of the country, no problem. But I had to deal with that. Just being out in complete blackness so far away from where I live, which 15 miles is not a million miles. People run marathons, but that time of night and just, I was fearful. Didn't know why, but it was spooky. Those trees look like big, tall, whatever, giants. waving back and forth in the wind. And after the initial adrenalized fear went away, I became very peaceful. I accepted where I was. And deep down, I knew nothing was going to happen to me. And it wasn't really thinking something was going to happen to me. It was just another world for a long time while I was walking. And it did something to me. I don't really want to walk down that road and go all those miles down there. But I'm not afraid of it anymore. It took me being brave to a new level. It purged me of anything that would be negative in my thoughts to say, oh, I don't want to go there. It's not just about a dark road. It cleansed out the last vestige of any kind of apprehension was cleared out of me. I go after my projects head on. I never did doubt myself, but there's never any second thought, even if somebody tries to put it in my head. That was good. Radical honesty, facing your fears, failures, and motives without lying to yourself. But I was always honest. If I had a motive that was decadent, lustful, I won't go there, but I've spoken of those things before. When we say failures, I wouldn't say necessarily failure. The failure would be a victory over you if that failure wasn't a challenge to do better the next time. Sometimes we fail in things that we don't really want to do, and we don't feel bad about it because I didn't want to do it anyway. But there are things that we want to do in life and we miss the mark and we call it a failure. No, it's a learning experience to go higher and achieve what it is that you want to achieve. I don't stop throwing punches. You can knock me down, but I'm gonna get up and keep on throwing punches. I'm gonna keep on doing what I have to do like a worker ant when you knock off the anthill. They don't stop. They don't bitch and moan and complain. They keep going. You'll wear yourself out trying to kick over every little anthill that those ants create and make because they're not stopping. You're gonna have to go somewhere and go to sleep. They're gonna keep on building. That's my mentality. That's my relentless quality that I have. But I'm radically honest with it. Number 2, value independence. Creating your own moral code, not one handed down blindly. This is why, for me, I never ever thought about ever joining a gang when I was younger. My parents put so much into me to make me an independent thinker that I never had a hunger to feel complete by joining a gang. If you see me with groups of people and we're doing something together, that's because I want to do that regardless as to who's around me. See, that's the difference. Some people, they have no direction. Yeah, I'll join this group and I'll do. No, go ahead and do it. It's okay to do that if you want to do that. But me, I can't. If I'm there, it's because I want to do that particular thing anyway. I value my independence. I create my own moral code. I don't need a leader to lead me. That's why with people who want to project themselves in these little groups and these little cults as a leader, I piss them off. Because I may agree with them on certain things, but there's certain things I disagree on. I may not voice it, but they know I cannot be the narcissist leader because this one is a threat. He's thinking on his own. He has his own thoughts. He's not a lost entity who needs my pseudo guidance. You know what I mean? And I'm happy about that with my life. No matter what level of awareness I've been on, I'm not a follower. I'm sorry. I just can't. I'll support you if there's certain things about you that I agree, but I'm not going to wholeheartedly throw myself into somebody else's moral code and ideology just because of slick words and there's a lot of that out in the world. because most people are insecure as to their direction and who they are. They have no moral code, and they accept somebody else's handed to them blindly. I can't do that. Number 3, emotional balance. Not needing anyone else to feel whole or stable. I don't. Not to feel whole. I am whole. You see, they have this thing, and I've spoken about it before in other shows. They have these love songs, very romantic. And they always say, we are 2 people becoming one. 2 people becoming one? Let me open up a store and you have that mentality. So give me $2 and I'll give you $1 back. I wouldn't have to sell anything. 2 whole people, I'm assuming you're whole. It could be 2 broken people who are 50% to become one, and you're still shortchanging yourself because you feel happy that you're one, but you should be one on your own, and the next person be one on their own, and together you are 2. And when you have 2 people that are whole within themselves, you begin to work synergistically, where if you combine your energies to create a business, or you create a family, or you do something together. I can't tell you an exact number. I'm just saying this for example. It's like 25 people doing it. When you have 2 whole people together, it ain't 2 people becoming one. It's 2 people becoming 25. And that's in your home life. That's in your sex life. That's in your intellectual life together. You are your own universe. I know that I am my own universe. I won't even have a chance in the years that the Creator is giving me to explore myself completely. I'm too vast. I know myself better at 62 years old than I ever have, but there's certain things about me I don't know. Digging deep, I'll prove it. How many times have you said, well, I'll never do that. You'll never catch me eating that food. You'll never catch me doing that activity. I'm not saying anything bad. And then you find yourself doing something that you said you'd never do. That's good and that's bad. It could be something bad. It's something weird. Then you have to say to yourself, oh, remember I said I'll never do this, but look at me now. So we have to know that we don't need anyone else to feel whole or stable. And this is how it's a lot of men who do this, and some women do it to men, but I think it's more men. And I haven't researched this statement, but I'm just going on what I see in the world from my own experience. And you have a lot of men that say to women, you ain't never gonna find nobody like me. You hear? A toxic man who will say that, who, when leaving or getting tossed away by a woman who discovered that he was no good, he's going to turn around and say that, especially if he knows that she's broken. So I'm going to break you up even more. So you'll sit there feeling as though you need me to be whole. So emotional balance, again, is not needing anyone else to feel whole or stable. You should feel stable on your own. And sometimes you have toxic people, male or female, that will offer you stability because they've established themselves more. And that's a hook to keep you in the relationship. You see what I mean? Some people have a need to be domineering over their mate that way. If you leave me, I don't know where you're going to go. Playing on the fact that the person may not be stable or whole. Those are hooks to hook into you to keep you under control. So when I say being a dangerous loner, it doesn't mean some weird dude sitting on the rooftop waiting to pick somebody off with a high-powered machine gun. The silent monster, because you cannot be controlled. Number 4, intellectual courage. Asking questions others avoid and refusing to be silent. Intellectual courage, it takes courage. When you marry into a dysfunctional family, to ask questions that others avoid and refusing to be silenced. It could be a job, that something's going on that doesn't seem right. How come this guy gets to sit over there all day on his phone, barely doing work? You're in a cubicle, you can see over by his, but he gets a bigger raise and a promotion, and I'm busting my behind. Nepotism. You didn't know that that was the nephew of one of the higher ups in the company. That's why. But if you ask the questions, most people, they're not going to do that because they're scared of getting fired. Now, there's a way to do everything, right? I'm not saying just be reckless, but have the courage to ask the questions. You're in a church. You got a pastor speaking about faithfulness and marriage, but his car is parked up in that really shapely church sister's yard across the street from you. She's real busy. She may wave at you in passing, but you never had a chance to talk to her. And she's kind of standoffish. But every Saturday night, pastor's car is parked right up in there, leaving out 2 o'clock in the morning. That's why he looks so tired during the service, because the service he was indulging in just a few hours before was something that had nothing to do with the sanctity of living a wholesome, clean, and righteous life. There's a lot of hallelujahs going on then too. They were calling out Jesus' name, but it wasn't because they loved the Lord either. You know, I got a little a stick in my little funny anecdotes and stuff. So to go down the list again: radical honesty, value independence, emotional balance, and intellectual courage. Each pillar makes you harder to manipulate. If you do not chase status, status has no hold on you. If you do not fear rejection, rejection cannot silence you. If you are content within yourself, the world has no chains strong enough to bind you. So the question remains, are you content within yourself? Or do you feel that you always have to have the latest fashion, the latest vehicle, the latest whatever it may be, the latest gadget? Oh, I just bought this brand new phone last year, but I'm going to buy this brand new phone now for this year. Yes, I have the brand new, but you're not doing anything with this stuff. You're chasing status, and it's false. But if status has no hold on you, then you're free. These other people are trapped because they're empty inside, and it's harder to manipulate you with the commercials. And you feel I'm not saying you, it could be you, but I want to correct that. The people who fall victim and feel depressed after seeing these commercials. I gotta go out, I gotta go to the mall, and I gotta buy this, and I gotta buy that. I was never that way. I've always had nice things, but it wasn't status driven. I don't even have a car right now. I don't need it. And I don't want the cost. Still building the house and finishing it up, putting the icing on the cake. I'm more into that than I am, yeah, man, you know, what you gonna roll in when you come out and bust out with a car, man? You gonna get one of them SUVs, man. You know, they about $100,000 of luxury. No. That's not the point. I want to be financially free. I don't want anything hanging over my head. It's not how much you make, it's what you don't spend. I window shop all the time. I go through, there's a new store open, they have all these tools. I love it. I'm gonna start building my tool collection. I don't care about these other things. I'm eccentric and I love it. I'm true to myself. That status thing has no hold on me. This is why solitude, rightly embraced, is not a weakness, it's actual power. But there's a difference between loneliness and solitude. People mistake, Lancescurv travels. I'm in solitude. I'm not lonely. I'm not lonely. I got stuff to do. Loneliness is hunger. It's the feeling of being incomplete and desperate for others to fill the emptiness. I'm not knocking those who go to nightclubs again. I'm talking about nightclubs a whole lot tonight, right? But you're going to dress up, right? Maybe if it's a bunch of women that are friends and you want to go there as a backdrop, why not get up in the morning and walk around the park a couple miles? Do something healthy. Or you're that guy who doesn't have any social skills and you dress up and you get a few drinks and you're lonely, you're to yourself and you feel empty and you're desperate for others to fill the emptiness. Well, why not go to a bookstore in the daytime? There are people there, there are women there, and strike up a conversation. Oh, that looks like an interesting book. What is that all about? Oh, by the way, my name is so-and-so. That may seem a little too forward, but break off from that fear and live life fully. See, I'm not saying we like it's you or it's me. That's the way I talk. But we're like caged birds who grew up in a cage that was narrower than our wingspan. So we couldn't even stretch our wings out while we were captive in the cage. But we got so used to being in the cage that once the cage was removed and lifted off of us, we don't know how to stretch our wings because we're so used to being captive. Isn't that something? Loneliness is hunger. It's the feeling of being incomplete and desperate for others to fill the emptiness. I had to say it again. That is why loneliness creates consumers, followers, and dependents. I'm going to say it again. That is why loneliness creates consumers, followers, and dependents. I've seen so many people, not the ones who are purposely window shopping for something specific, but many who are wandering around feeling incomplete, thinking that making a purchase is going to fill the emptiness. It will distract the emptiness for a time. For a time until it wears off. Because you made this purchase and you feel new again. It's a temporary feeling of wholeness. Loneliness creates consumers, followers, and dependents. Solitude is wholeness. It is the peace of enjoying your own thought, the strength of standing without fear, and the calm of not needing to perform for approval. Now, I know a child will always seek the approval of the parents. But if the parents did the proper thing with the child will be able to gauge their progress in any area of expertise in this lifetime and be able to assess if they're doing good or not. When the parents miss out on that aspect of parenting, that child will grow up seeking the approval of other people. If the parents made that child whole and make them see themselves as a whole person who is complete, they wouldn't be so hungry now to latch on to a dysfunctional relationship that can eventually get abusive because you're seeking approval from somebody who's using you, who sees you being broken, who sees you not being whole, and that's the way they grip you. Like I say, you see the bowling ball, right? If those bowling balls didn't have the 3 holes to stick your fingers in and the thumb to grip it, there's no way you can hold on to it. So if we're all like bowling balls and you're not complete and you're not whole, the world sees where it can stick its fingers into your life and into your psyche and grab onto you and throw you around wherever they want to throw you with one hand. If the bowling ball didn't have those 3 holes in it, you better hold 2 hands because that bad boy is heavy and you can't handle it. When you're whole, the world can't swoop down on you and handle you. And I use the example of men and women. Not all men are abusive. I just use these examples. A man meets you for the first time. Seems by chance, but nothing's by chance, and he's sizing you up. When he could see that you're whole, he could sense it. He's not gonna mess around with you too long if he's the type of person to want to take advantage of a person who's not whole or broken. They don't hang around too long. They don't hang around too long. And I know you pretty much understand that in life, but me bringing it up makes you think about it. Think about it. We all have friends who may be broken or they don't feel whole, and they're jumping from one relationship to the next, and it's definitely with the same entity, the same spirit. Might be a different person, but they make the same choices. That's a whole other story. And remember, if there's anything you want me to really go in on, let me know. Lance at Lancescurv.com or down in the comment section. I'll talk about it. I'm not afraid to talk about anything. Anything. I dare you. Loneliness makes you dependent. Solitude makes you free. Okay? Let's not lie. There is a cost. Choosing the path of self-sufficiency can lead to misunderstanding. I understand that. Others will call you antisocial or even arrogant. Some relationships will fade. There will be pressure to conform. Back to the herd, the group. To stop being different. Why are you so different? You changed. You'll hear it. Some cave to the pressure. To them, it's more comfortable to just give in and be a part of a group that mentally and spiritually is not going anywhere. And I'm not saying that from being arrogant or condescending or feeling as though I'm better than anybody. No, I'm not saying it that way. But you know when you in a Lamborghini that's made to be on a racetrack, right? And you're in a slow lane during the morning traffic jam, it's not you. You are not built for that. You don't have to apologize to people or slow yourself down just to seek their approval. No, you don't. No, you don't. But the cost of conformity is far greater. The cost of living only for approval is the death of your true self. I gotta say it again. The cost of living only for approval is the death of your true self. You can't be true to yourself if you gotta stop every moment you feel you're making some type of progress and go to somebody else who may have a mentality below yours or a lower vibration for approval that they can't assess how high you're going. And chances are most people don't want you to do better than them. We're not just talking money. Lots of times you will be hated for your wisdom. You'll be hated for your mind. You'll be hated for your talents because it shows them up. But it's not a competition. You're just being yourself. The cost of living only for approval is the death of your true self. Every time you seek to improve or you achieve something, see, I did this. So, do you like it? Do you think I did good? They don't like you after a while if they're not striving for their own perfection. And yes, we're not perfect. We never will be perfect, but let's strive for perfection, knowing that we won't be perfect, but it brings us better. A tall mountain right there. Shoot to go to the top of the mountain. Don't say, oh, the mountain too high. I'm just going to go over here and sit down at the bottom. I'm going to take a helicopter and go. No. We need to strive. We need the challenge. And it's when you're seeking approval, is when it's people who are really not in your corner, that's their opportunity to shoot you down, discourage you. Because the secret naysayers and the people who don't have their own motivation, they'll be quick to shoot you down because you show them up for what they're not doing. I've learned that. You see? If we as a people continue to seek validation from systems that never valued us, we will remain controlled. Look at these political groups, black people, whatever they call themselves, whatever kind of caucus or carcass or and they operate under a bigger system that has no respect for them. They'll never have the balls to break free and say, hey, this is what we're doing, this is how we're organizing, and this is what we need for our people to go higher. But everybody else does it. We operate within a system that never valued us, so we'll remain controlled. That's why every 4 years, you faithful people going and voting, and nothing seems to change for you. But on the other side of town, it does. That's a whole different topic. If we choose instead to master solitude, we reclaim the right to think, to choose, and to define ourselves. How are you going to expect somebody else who doesn't see any value in you to define you? You're not a baby. You get up in the morning to get dressed, you put on what you need to get dressed, what you like, what you think is the best. You might be a funny dresser, but if you believe in it and hey, do your thing. And who am I to say it's a funny dresser? You're a funny dresser. You're odd. You might like purple polka dots and yellow stripes, and not to go into nobody's job like that, but be an individual. Reclaim your right to think and to choose and to define yourself. Be yourself. And that's one thing I always said I was going to be when I got online in 2001. I'm going to be myself. I'm not looking sideways to see what somebody else is doing and I got to copy them. No, I'm myself. I have my own experiences. I have my own perspectives. I am unique. There's nobody in the universe like me. I'm sorry for being confident. I'm not really sorry. Whoever don't like, they can kiss my behind. What I'm saying is that we have to come to a point in our life where we know that we are whole. When you're whole, when you go out into the world and experience things and collect experiences, you have a full basket to compare and to line up against, and you can learn so much and you can already assess what's good for you and what's not good for you. But how are you going to shop proper when you don't know what you have in the refrigerator at home? You make a list, but it's intuitive. Oh, I need a little bit of this because I'm running low on that. It's okay to make a list, but know what you need. And you're not going to get it by seeking to be validated by somebody else. Applying solitude to the Black community. How about that? How would that work? Our liberation depends on self-sufficiency. A community that cannot stand alone is always vulnerable to exploitation. If you can't cook or make a meal for yourself, the Chinaman is out there waiting in your neighborhood. Chinese takeout. And God knows what's in that food. A community that can't stand alone is always vulnerable to exploitation. And people are making money off of what you don't do. Whatever you don't do for yourself in standing alone and making your community or your life or your family more self-sufficient, you will be exploited. You think you're going to go into the Chinese community and open up a restaurant and they're going to support you? They only give you that smile because you're spending money with them. They're like, oh, yeah. Dumb Negro don't know how to cook in their own house. Make us rich. And when they come around our neighborhood, we call cops and get them out. We don't like them. We don't want them. We just want their money. That's all. It's true. They'll go out for the dollar. That's most of everybody else. But we got to care for ourselves, and we have to be able to stand alone. Pool our resources, pool our talents. You go into business, why are you trying to rip off your own people? On the other hand, you go into business, and why you have so many people that look like you? Hey man, I think you're doing good. You got a business. Give me the hookup. Stop that. Pay the full price and even more. Take joy in seeing that business in your community with people who look like you to go and thrive. The problem is with Black people, they don't want to see the next Black man or woman do better than them. This is 2025. And we really haven't gotten anywhere. We want the podium. We want the spotlight on us. We want to be the one who portrays success. And you may even be successful, fine. But there's so many people spiritually pulling against you. Supporting that Negro. Who you think he is? He ain't better than me. Well, theoretically, he might be, or she might be better than you because they got up and busted their chops to achieve something while you sit down and scroll on your phone on the couch all day. You didn't figure it out. Don't be mad. I've been doing this so long. This is so effortless for me. I have my own system, way of doing things. And me and the mic, we having fun. We talking. That's what it is. The community cannot stand alone. It is always vulnerable to exploitation. See? We cannot build strength if we're addicted to external approval. We cannot build unity if we are constantly distracted by shallow validation. Shallow validations that feel good. You'll find yourself in a sorry state of affairs. Every time I walk by, that man always gives me a compliment. You think he loves you? It's that tight dress that he's looking at. But he keeps giving you the shallow validations that he worked his way into your bedroom. Now, 9 months later, you by yourself. I'm not saying this about Black men, all of them. No. Kudos to the brothers who handle their responsibilities and have proper validation, or rather, sorry, I've been saying validation all the time. Giving you proper validation, which is really support. And you shouldn't be seeking validation. You should be whole. But they will give you that support wholeheartedly with a clean heart, not some secret agenda. If he does you right and supports you and loves you and gives his whole life, of course he gets the cookies. Give it to him good. Put that arch in your back. Because you got a real one. With the shallow compliments and all that stuff and whatever, it doesn't last. It's like those things you buy that you know are going to break. You know when you buy something cheap, some kind of something you got to put together or some little plastic something and it breaks after like 2 weeks, if that much, or if that long. And you're like, I knew this thing was going to break. But you bought it anyway. You don't want that kind of life or mentality to expect less with your efforts and hard-earned money. True power comes when individuals grow whole within themselves, then bring that wholeness into the community. People who do not need outside approval are unshakable. This goes for the people, and this goes for you. If you don't need outside approval, you become unshakable. You telling the world you weak when you seek their approval. Now, when you go to somebody who is an expert in a certain area of expertise and you're seeking advice, right? It's different. But just out here seeking approval from novices and people who have no clue what you're doing, first of all, they don't even need to know. The people who embrace solitude are free to create their own values, their own systems, and their own future. Keep these nookers out of your business. If they're not doing something for themselves, and even then they could be rotten. They could be doing what looks to be great things. But you better test their heart, like they say in the Bible, test the spirit. You can say what you want about the Bible. There's a couple of issues I have with it, but I know that's one good one there that you need to follow through with. Test the spirit. Solitude is a very dangerous gift. But who is it dangerous to? See, we must see solitude for what it truly is. Not loneliness, not weakness, but the foundation of strength. The person who no longer needs constant validation cannot be enslaved by the games of society. We must learn to be content with ourselves, to be still with our thoughts, and to build from within. That is the first step to independence, both personal and collective. Before we can get to collective, we got to be right within ourselves. If we want freedom as a people, we must start by becoming dangerous in the best possible way, impossible to control, rooted in self-respect, and complete without approval. We don't complete ourselves and go down to the enemy. Can I have your approval? Am I good enough? No. You got to take yourself to the fiery furnace to the point where you know. If you're a boxer training for the biggest fight in your life, you know that you need months of preparation. And after a while, something clicks within you and you know that you're ready. There was an old song back late 70s or 1980 by Kano, K-A-N-O. Those little electric sounding songs. And the song, the title was I'm Ready. And I was training for a bodybuilding competition. I trained for months, but I was going into them constantly, but I was getting better and better. And this song was playing in the gym. I lifted up my shirt to show my stomach, my abdominals, my serratus muscles and intercostals. They were so sliced up and my waistline was so small. I was sweaty and I was just so well defined. And that song was playing ding a ding a ding a ding a ding and then I'm ready. I'm ready. That was just a personal moment with myself. I was like, yeah, I'm ready. And it's when you put yourself through the grind of attaining, nobody can tell you a damn thing. That's what it is. The world fears those who master solitude because such individuals cannot be bought, silenced, or broken. You know how many narcissistic entities are out here who enjoy your enthusiasm just to destroy you? You can't come back from that. You won't be a threat to my dominance. Nobody was trying to come after what you think is dominance. You're doing your own thing. See? But you can't be broken. You're impossible to control, rooted in self-respect, and complete without approval. But you cannot be bought, silenced, or broken. But you must not fear this path. You must embrace it. That's how you grow. Let's stand strong. Not because others approve, but because we know our worth. I remember Muhammad Ali speaking to somebody. It was an interview. And they were trying to shortchange him, asking him to fight a lesser opponent that didn't earn the right to fight him. And I remember him saying, I know my value, I know my worth, I know, don't try to make this man something better than me. I earned the right to be champion. I am the greatest, right? There's so many of us in the Black community that have so much low self-esteem. We need to be able to say that. Look, if we said that to ourselves, most of us would whisper and apologize to the person that heard it. You got to know yourself. You go to a job resume, you don't say, well, I think I can do this. Or you go to a job interview, with your resume, and you don't apologize to the person interviewing you. You don't even have to believe in yourself. You need to know in yourself. Yes, I am good with graphics. Yes, I communicate excellently. I know how to write real good. I know how to draw real good. I could be a comedian sometime, and you can dial in on what side of me you want to enjoy, and I'll produce it to you each and every time. Oh man, he's stuck on himself. Oh, he think he all that. Well, see, when people say that, most of the time, they don't think they're anything. So I can't hold myself back because of your low self-esteem. I can't hold back my knowledge of what I have theoretically under the hood, my internal engine, because you doubt yourself, or you never proved to yourself, or you never worked hard for something that was uniquely yours to offer the world. To make people confident in themselves that they can do the same thing too. Because back in the 60s, when Muhammad Ali said he was the greatest, and he said he was pretty and he was good looking, I look like a model, but I'm a boxer and I'm fast and I'm talented, whatever, especially at the time of the civil rights movement, young Black men and women derived strength from that. We have too many perpetual apologists. Well, I'm a little successful, but the Lord helped me with that, and I don't know how. No, you worked hard and you got there. Yeah, the Creator had that in your destiny. Go higher, go higher. But let's choose solitude when needed so that we can come together. It's not from weakness, but it's from strength. The future belongs to those who are whole within themselves. Let us become that people. When you see them Chinese coming into America, they don't come to the Black neighborhood and ask you permission if they can open up a restaurant. They deal with the government, they pay the taxes and do everything they have to do, and they get busy. And you hungry and don't want to cook, you go right to them. But they never ask your approval. Isn't that something? And we diminish our financial power because we don't go home and cook the foods that we like to eat. Collectively, there were many people from Guyana, Indians from Guyana that moved into Richmond Hill, Queens back in the early 80s. They bought homes collectively. And I remember next door, we had some people that lived in the basement, which it wasn't in that part of town legal to live in your basement. Or you can go down there and live, but you better not rent it out. They rented out the parts that you can rent, and about 10 of them are living in the basement. Sleeping on those little mats that you have in the jail or at the daycare center, they spread it out when you take that hour nap. They were all living in their basement on the floor, and when they cooked, it was out of one big. Nobody came back home with Chinese food. Nobody came back home with a bag of McDonald's. Nobody came back home. No. This is how we're going to save our money. This is how we're going to live free, because the mortgage is paid by the two families upstairs who are renting from us. We're going to be very resourceful. They weren't wearing the latest fashions. They didn't try. Basic clothes, jeans, work boots, shirts, whatever. No jewelry. But they nursed themselves to economic freedom and took over the whole neighborhood. Now it's businesses up and down the boulevard and the avenue. And the Black people who didn't have that in their mind, who fell to crack cocaine or selling crack cocaine, who got locked up for selling it, and those who got messed up for using it, destroyed us. We were moved out of the way. Not all of us. But if you don't use it, you're going to lose it. So while too many of us are trying to keep up online by looking at these little short videos talking about the celebrities and who's sleeping with who and who's gay and who's down low and who got caught in the bed with this other person, there are people out there in solitude with a plan to make things happen. Collectively, we haven't done it to the level that we should, because this thing called social media has globally turned us against each other. I know African. Them Africans come over here and they won't take our reparations. And what? If you were given reparations right now, fool, what would you do with it? You go right to the white man and go buy a car and drive it down the same sorry neighborhood like you done did something what I call depreciates. Come on. How many of our sisters would bleach their skin and get BBLs and walk around looking like a horse? I'm not putting nobody down, but it's 2025. Look, 911 was a big thing when it happened, but could you believe? It was 24 years ago and a week at the time of this recording. A quarter, damn near, of a century. And we're going on with foolishness. Go back 25 years before that, in the middle 70s. We seem to be waking up after the civil rights movement, but too much distractions and trinkets and baubles and rubies and low self-esteem and broken homes and rap music that was hijacked that once was ours, but they put the death in the lyrics, and the women only see themselves as playthings and the guys see themselves as thugs, and now the guys see themselves as guys down on their knees in front of a next man. God dog, what's going on with us? You ever go to the park and the birds, you throw out breadcrumbs, you're sitting and you see the old lady throwing out the breadcrumbs, and the birds trust her because she's not abruptly getting up, whatever. They can sense her spirit. Whatever the devil throws out for us, we fly down and flock to it. And I have a show about stuff like that. I got one thing to do, and I'm going to do it probably tonight. And I'm going to go in on that one. And then we wonder why we don't get anywhere. And then we hate each other, whether it's obvious or not. I've seen other races of people joyous at the gains that their fellow man or woman has made. Because in their mind, when they make a gain or a win for the team, it's a win for everybody. Many of them don't play the lottery. They know they are their own lottery, guaranteed with hard work. But if they were in their family, one of their family members were to win the lottery, they all would get happy because they know that's elevation for everybody. Some of us and some of our families, we may act a certain way when we're in the trenches. Let one of y'all hit the lottery. Oh, them Negroes, talking about their family, them Negroes, they won't get nothing from me. They never liked me. And everything gets unraveled. Now they're hating on each other. Now one person who made the money, got the money, he's gone. He don't want to hear from you. Every time you call me, you asking for something. Now that's not everybody. But we're pre-wired for destruction. We're pre-wired for dysfunction. Just add a little water of circumstance, and guess what? The truth comes out. Stuff you've been holding in so long because you refuse to embrace solitude and cleanse that crap out. When you cleanse out the crap that has been put on us and how we've reacted to our experiences, which have not been pleasing. When you cleanse it out, you can ascend that much faster because you don't have the internal crap. A pipe can look pretty from the outside, but if it's clogged up, everything is going to back up in the sink, in the toilet, and you don't want that. Are your pipes cleaned? Can you embrace solitude for a time to maintain cleanliness from within to become that silent monster of a dangerous loner that cannot be controlled, that cannot be influenced in a negative way. That's what I mean by dangerous loner. Not some dysfunctional man sitting up on the top of a roof with a high-powered rifle looking to pick people off, but a person who knows where they're going and they're full and they're whole and can't be manipulated. Especially when you know what precious internal attribute you've developed. You don't have to ask anybody for anything because you know you have it all on the inside. I'll let you cook with that. I'll leave you with that. Make sure to go to Lancescurv X and leave your email address so you get all of the content that we create here, the articles, the videos, the artwork, merchandise, everything. I want deeper conversation. I want a deeper, ascended mindset. That's why I can't mess with certain people out here. You want to say it's arrogant, so he thinks you better. Oh, them not like we. Listen, that's your low self-esteem problem. I love me. And if I don't want to indulge in your little bit of gossip and small-mindedness and bad mind, it's the things you indulge in that I don't like. Show me something better. There are great people in my life, in my small inner circle. I want to spend time in fellowship with them because they can share with me what they gained in solitude. And I can share with them what I gained in my solitude. And we're rock solid like this. This is why I do not get discouraged, because I'm rooted in something that most people don't know. I don't seek the validation. Is this okay? Is this all right? Get out of here. I'm complete. And I know when things are proper. I don't judge. Judging is when you don't know. I assess because I know the measurement. But I truly appreciate you lasting this long. And I look forward to sharing other insights. If it can help anybody, share it. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Because this is from the heart. And I love what it is that I do. Can't you tell? Anyway, I'm on to the next one. A little fatigued now. Throat's a little dry. I'm going to drink some water, get a meal. And I'm on to the next one. I'm glad you're here. I really love you very much. Peace.